Hello, everyone. I am Kim Tabay, your host of There Is an Art to Life. I just want to give a big shout out to all the beautiful divine creators out there. If you're new to painting, this is a great episode for you guys. I just wanted to take my time during this episode to kind of just show you how I usually set up my space for painting. So those of you who have been dabbling with painting, There's an Art to Life is a great tool for you guys to learn new technique. We're going to be painting some really awesome paintings together. I'll show you all my tips and tricks as far as like using acrylic painting. But this episode, I just kind of want to show you guys how I set up my creative space whenever I'm going to start diving into a new painting. So for this episode, let's go through all my tools. Okay, so whenever I set up my space, I make sure that I have the time to do this. Painting is tricky, and it's not just paint on canvas. The canvas is a tool. Your brushes are a tool. The paint in itself, it has a different temperament as well. The water is a tool. Okay. So make this simple for yourself. I always paint whenever my son goes to sleep. So I do this in the late hours. I light a candle, I have a nice cup of tea with me, and I'll play some really just easy listening music. I mean, as much as I love to rock out, I like music that helps me just flow, and it's not evasive, and it's making me think about the words, or like making me create a rhythm to it. This is about you being present with the process, allowing yourself to dive into something new. And that's not always easy, but art is fun. And that's what I always say. Art is a safe place. And it's also a beautiful vessel for you to even see what you're capable of. Real magic happens right here on the canvas. And I just want to go ahead and give this to all of you guys. Okay, especially in this new year, new world, new identities, new adventures. Art helps you really acclimate to all of the uncomfortableness, right? As we all know, when we're trying something new, it also happens on a cellular level. And so art really gives you the opportunity to experience something multidimensionally. Okay, we're doing it. We're seeing it, we're building, we're hearing it, and there's a lot going on, but it's all you, okay? So this in it itself is also a place of empowerment, okay? Like, art is such an amazing tool and gift. So that's what this show is all about, all right? So here's the type of painting that I use, and I've been using this for over 20 years. Golden paint, it's a little bit expensive, but it's worth it. And if you go to your local Michael's, they always have really good coupons. So I would always investing in good paint, it goes a long way, okay? And if you can't afford that, Michael's always has this, Liquitex is a really good alternative to paint. But use what you have. And here's the thing, you don't need expensive tools to create something beautiful on a canvas. All right? I'm self-taught. I didn't go to any prestigious art school. You live and you learn. You use what it is that you have. Okay? Don't let the fancy shit get in your way. All right? That's not what art's about. I actually like using the unconventional stuff. But I'm also a creature of habit, and I've been using that for years. So I love the results of the golden paints, okay? So I always use the golden paints. A really good set to have is just your primaries, okay? That's blue, yellow, red, and black and white. And those turn into your secondary colors, okay? We're going back to the basics. Yellow and blue make green. Red and yellow make orange. And red and blue make purple, which is one of my favorite colors. And if you add white to that, it lightens that up, right? And you get your beautiful pastels. And if you add black to that, it darkens it up, right? So stick with like what I would like to say, like the in and out menu, and then you can build on that. Okay. So also the only thing you need is your canvas. It's always great to have about 3 different size brushes. Okay. Your large for coverage. We're just getting all that background down. Okay. Your medium for more details. And then this smaller one for a little bit more of the finer details. And during the some of these episodes, I really show you guys how to use your brushes as well. Okay. So I always like to have about 2 cups of water around. The way that I use acrylic paint, I really like to dilute the paint, and I like to build until it becomes the color that I want it to become. All right. There's a process in which I like to call a hot mess. So expect that to happen here. Expect yourself, as you're getting to know what these applications look and feel like, and you're able to sit back and see what's happening. It's a building process. Okay. Yeah, and make sure you have good lighting. When I taught myself how to paint, I was always in dark painting, so that's why you see these like very intense lines. That's from all those details. All right. Paper towels are always good to have around as well. And then again, a good positive attitude as well. Be kind to yourselves. All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to painting with you guys. We're gonna make it easy. Remember, painting is a safe place, and be kind to yourself. All right. It's great seeing you guys. Beautiful divine creators. Let's go ahead and paint. See you soon. Okay, loved ones, are you ready to paint? So this is my basic setup, okay? Usually, sometimes I have an easel, but sometimes it's best just to lay your plate down if you don't have an easel. As you can see, I have my water cup nearby, a paper towel. I have my 3 brushes. That's my large, medium, and small, and my paper plate with 3 different colors. I'm going to show you a very, very basic painting and what you could do with actually just 3 colors. I don't know if you could see that, but that's white right there. Okay, so white, blue, and black. All right, so remember, just take a deep breath and let's begin. All right, always put your brushes in the water cup. Okay, water is your friend. It keeps the brush bristles nice and loose. And I also take that water to dilute my paint, because when I, dilute my paint and I put that first layer of paint, your canvas also soaks up all that first layer of paint. Okay, so we are going to go ahead. As you can see, I'm going to take the water that's sitting in here. Think of your palette like a cheese plate, and this is your knife. I'm going to cut this as I go. So I'm taking a little bit of that paint out. Now I'm pushing in that water that was sitting in the brush, and I'm diluting this. Okay? So see how that just makes it soaks in the brush. I don't have this like big chunk sitting up there. This allows me to know that I'm gonna get a consistent flow throughout. Okay? So I'm going to run my brush and really push in the paint into the canvas. I'm just getting it in. Have fun with it. And I run my brush until I feel like it's not giving me paint anymore. Okay? So no more paint on there, right? I go back to my water. I'm going to tap it a little bit, hit that paper towel to soak up some of that drops. Now I'm going to go back and do the same process. Okay? Now if you're seeing like these, the grain of that canvas in the background, that means there's not enough water in your paint to fill that in, and that's why I'm saying like the first layer is usually the thinnest. And we're just trying to get that background. It's just like primer, right? We're gonna get all the paint in the background. We're gonna come back. There's always coming back with more paint. Acrylic paint gets tricky if you use too much at first, right? It's really sticky and thick. Okay, back to my water. Again, cutting off more of that blue. I'm going to dilute it, and then back to my canvas. See how I'm pushing down? I'm hitting both edges. Again, run your brush until it's not giving you any more paint. And I do go back. If I see some paint sitting there, it's just like lotion on the arm. You go back for it, and you use it or bring it somewhere else, or you push it back in. Push it in more into that canvas. Okay, back. And then back to the paint. Okay, so that's why I use the wide brush, right? More coverage. More coverage. And then I like to really hit those edges. And then redirect. So notice I'm emphasizing these long horizontal strokes. Okay, so that's my first layer of blue. Got a completely covered canvas. Alright? Some of you might have to wait, so take your time. There's no such thing as speeding through a painting. This is what painting is about. Painting is about patience. I know that's hard for a lot of you, as it is for me, but that's why this is my safe space. This is my space. This is Kim's space. We all are deserving of that. We all are deserving of a place in which is our own, where we don't have to just go and get on to the next. All right? So I'm going to rinse off my brush and see I'm like hitting it on its head, getting all that paint that's sitting there out. And I always make sure there's no more standing. Okay? So we are going to now, I'm going to add some black. And you're just like, what? I know, it's kind of scary. We're going to add some depth to this. And with black, it could get super scary. So I like to, again, dilute my paint and then hit it on the paper towel first, because I'm not committed yet. Okay, so I'm going to take some of that off. Now, I'm just going to come in and mix it with that blue. Okay, so the more that I'm going over that blue, the more it mixes. Okay, and there's pockets being revealed here, and I like that. We're going to keep those. So, again, it's like applying makeup. The more you go over it, the more it mixes. So sometimes you let some of that live. I know that a lot of my students have a tendency to want things to be very smooth in transition, but from a distance, these pockets add the texture in which creates more characteristics within your painting. Okay? So again, I'm just going to drag my brush until it's not giving me paint anymore. Or then it's like mixing with some of that blue. Right? I'm going to do that one more time. And you're just like, this is not a pretty color, Kim. It's okay. I told you. It's going to be a hot mess once in a while. Well, all the time. You could count on that. Just like life, right? push that in. All right. I'm gonna let that dry. Okay, so it's black paint, so I gotta really get that out so that you're not gonna, so we don't drag that into our next color. Again, this is gonna be a very simple painting. Okay, now that we have that black, now I wanna come back with my second layer of blue. All right, so it's just like when you get your nails done. I mean, mine are crazy right now, but these are painter's hands. I'll rock it. They look like little islands. All right, so I'm gonna go back now for my second layer of blue. We're a little bit more committed. It doesn't have to be that diluted. All right. Okay, water again, because I just want a really nice consistency with my applications. So again, from the top, see, look how beautiful that second layer is, really comes to life now, right? Always back to my water, back to my paint. I'm going to keep some of those pockets, which means some of that, those windows. Now that blue's coming to life, right? It just needed a background layer. And remember, everything is relative here. Everything matters. Make sure you're breathing. A lot of my students have the tendency to hold their breath when they're doing this, but this is about flow. Okay? Alright. Dragging my brush, pushing it down, pushing it down. Pushing it into the canvas. Okay, and so you guys are seeing me do this with blue. You could do this with red. You could do this with purple. You could do this with any color. I just want to show you what you could do with 3 simple colors. Blue canvas now. All right, so I'm gonna take a break about like probably 5-10 minutes. We're gonna let this really dry until we go into the next step. All right, so take a break, take a breather, walk away at some point, because if you continue just to poke at it, it may work against you. All right, and it's always great to walk away, let it dry, and come back with fresh eyes. This looks a lot different up close than it does from a distance. All right, so I'll see you guys soon. All right, so we are back. So this is quite dry now, right? And so we are ready to continue. Yeah. All right, so I want to go ahead and take my smaller brush now, and we're going to give this painting, I'm going to make this a landscape, yeah? First, we're going to take our small brush, and we're going to, again, wake up and activate our white paint. Now, let's see. I'm going to use this circle right here. We're going to make this a really pretty moonscape. Alright, so we're going to do this first. I'm going to use the edge of my white brush, like so. See how I'm just dragging it? I'm not picking it up. I'm just dragging my brush. Okay, there we go. So when I try to get a clean edge, notice I didn't go back for paint. You'd be surprised. These hold on to paint, okay? Especially when we're doing these first steps. You want to treat your paint like a pencil before the pen, okay? So when I try to clean up my edges, I push down on the brush so that my hand actually has a weight on it to help with balance. I really get that edge. Okay, push and drag. Alright, then I can switch to a bigger brush to fill this up. Now this is supposed to be a moon, so we're going to go circular. Alright, but keep in mind, the more I drag, the more we're going to pick this up and reactivate that blue. Okay, it's not my intention to now make this old light blue, but it's going to pick up some of that paint. And remember, this is not going to look white right away, and that's fine. A moon, I mean, if you look at the moon, it's not completely white, right? Some of that texture adds to the details of it. So now I'm activating my white paint, and I'm going to push down so I could get around that edge. And turned my brush. Okay. Again, just dragging my brush. Okay. I'm going to make that circular motion. So because we took that white and I dragged it on top of that blue, my brush picked that up. I want to come back with fresh white. So I want to clean off my brush, reactivate my white after I cleaned it off, because I don't want to bring in light blue, I want to bring in white into that, okay? And now I'm just going to get that off. And I like that this has now white and light blue and a darker blue. It just feels more like natural, right? So now I'm going to rinse off my brush, come back again a little bit more. Alright, I'm going to let that dry. So now I'm going to add some stars. Now this part, you could really water down that white. And I'm going to take a pen, and if I just go like this, I'm going to add some stars in the sky. Okay. And after that, we could use the butt of my brush and add bigger stars. Okay. I'm gonna rinse that off. I'm gonna grab a ruler. And I'm gonna add a landscape right across here. We're gonna give this moon a place to rest its head on. Alright, so I'm gonna take my black brush, my small brush and black paint. And instead of using this brush on like how I've been using the other brushes on its wide side, I'm going to use the razor side. Okay, so straight down like a duck build and then across. And see how I just drag? And boom. Okay. So that's a little bit wet. It's okay. But take your time. Alright, so I'm going to darken that up. And we're going to add a little bit more of that land here. And what's cool is that this gets to become a little bit of like a reflection. We're going to make this like water. Okay. Alright. Now we're going to make some trees. Again, I'm going to use the razor side. We're going to give this some trees here and some shadow. So I'm just going to go 1, 2. Make it have a reflection. Okay. Now, so now I'm just going to use the tip of my brush and I'm just going to make a Z. So that white paint is a little bit wet still. I'm going to come back with that black, just like we did the other layers. You get to come back. So I'm going to do the same thing in the opposite direction for that reflection. I get to darken that later. Okay, black, I could always go back to darken. Okay, same thing, opposite. This is more like water, so. Very simple painting, right? Alright, so I'm just tapping. So it's like a triangle. Okay, one more here. Right. I'm going to add this little area like we're standing at the edge of a cliff and watching this in the distance. Okay. Alright. Now I'm going to darken this one last time. There we go. So here's another tip. This black has to be just as dark as this black came out, okay? So it feels balanced. Okay, and then I want to eliminate this showing. So we're going to come and we're going to darken this area. And there we go. A little midnight reflection for you. So there's all the details for. See, so with 3 simple colors and a few layering applications, 1 circle, right? A landscape area here, and our trees were just triangles, right? Some stars, and there you go. Simple, simple, simple. Thanks for joining, everyone. Remember, be kind to yourselves. And there's an art to life. See you guys soon.